Hello and welcome. I am Scrapperlock, and this is City of Heroes on the Rebirth server, Iron Man mode with Iron Phoenix, who's level 15. And we're starting a new contact. I randomly rolled for Guy Denson. I didn't actually think to record that, but you'll have to take my word for it. So he's our next contact, and he asked me to go see Officer Sam Perry. He's been abducted and back to Paris Park. So guys, we're on our way to level 16. I'm fairly convinced at this point that our level 16 power is going to be Cobra Strike. There's no way we can run multiple toggles at least until level 18 anyway, because at 17 we can start putting in possibly dual origin enhancements if we sell one of our orange salvage for a decent amount of money, a couple 100,000 or something. Or at least get some trainers on things. But we don't have anything in stamina. We don't have enough endurance reducers. We won't have any slots at level 16 on focus senses, and so I feel like we need to at least get to level 17 before we try to put focus senses in there. This really reminds me of my first run. I think if you look back at Silver Phoenix, by now she already had focus senses. I think I waited longer for Focus Chi, and it's a tough one because Focus Chi does more damage, so you defeat guys faster. The other thing, getting Focus Chi early lets us do at level, say, maybe 17, is we can go ahead and get some slots on it, at least one slot on it, so that when we get to 17, if we can afford deals, we can put a couple of rechargers on it, and it will recharge in a minute and 10 seconds or something instead of a minute and a half. There's really no good solution to this. There are just like 5 different powers we needed at level 14, and you just can't get them all. By level 22, we will have most of the powers we need. I think we'll get quickness at 20, so we're going a little heavy on the attack, so I'm going to get Cobra Strike, and then we're going to do focus senses. Oh, and I guess dodge, and then maybe quickness. So then we're going to really go down this, and somewhere along the way we need to get Warrior's Challenge as well. Okay, so we are fighting Lost, it looks like. You can see how fast we can take down a minion when Focus Chi is running. Right, and that means less incoming damage, less hit points of damage taken. Fewer hit points of damage taken, I guess, is the right way to say it. And once again, we've got minions with multiple minions with a lieutenant. Sort of unusual. Seems like the Lost like to do that. And of course I missed. Alright, so that takes out the 2 minions. The other thing that Cobra Strike will buy us is doing stun. If we can hit, right? And so then it will stun our enemies, and they won't be able to attack us while they're stunned. So we can do knockback to one and stun to another one. So we're looking for the kidnapper and his guards. So it's not a defeat all, looks like. So we're not going to like try really hard to find every single guy. So the reason with Focus Chi that I hit the minion first rather than the lieutenant is just to get them out. And then you're just facing one guy and me against one lieutenant. Even an orange lieutenant, I can do that all day with martial arts. Probably don't even need the defense toggle on. Doesn't really help you against headman blasters anyway. Now, of course, if you want to be really min-maxy, what you can do after defeating the minion is I could have turned off focus senses because he's shooting at me, and so the focus senses doesn't really bias anything, to save an endurance a little bit. But I prefer to just leave it on. You never know when you're going to get attacked, and you also know, if you know me, Having watched me, you know what'll happen is I'll forget that I turned it off, and then I'll go fight a bunch of, like, a headman swordman, and it won't be on, and then he'll kill me. So I'd rather spend a little extra endurance and leave that toggle on. By the way, this is something that surprised the designers. Oh, let's see. We've got some enhancers we can use here. Let's buff this up. Oh. Who the heck? So that's something that actually surprised the designers. Let's talk about that. When the game first came out, I think the designers expected players, like toggles, if you notice, right? Toggles, I'll show you in a moment, but toggles have a very, very quick recharge time for the most part. And not all of them, but the vast majority of toggles recharge incredibly quickly, right? You turn it off, 4 seconds later it's ready. And even you can put recharge enhancers on them. Now, the obvious question you'd have to ask is, who in their right mind would bother to put a recharge enhancer on a 4-second power that's a toggle that you're just going to leave on all the time? Well, the answer is the developers didn't expect you to leave it on all the time. They expected players to turn them on and off as they needed them. You're fighting a melee guy, you turn on focus fighting, you turn off focus senses. You're fighting a ranged guy, you turn on focus senses, you turn off focus fighting. Right? And they actually expected you in the middle of a battle while you were attacking to be tweaking around with your toggles and turning them on and off. And that's why they cost so much endurance, right? You weren't supposed to just leave them on, so they cost endurance to prevent you from leaving them on all the time, right? And that's why they were so good, right? Focused fighting was 20% defense, which is very, very good. It's very powerful. And, well, it was that powerful because they figured you'd only be able to keep it on a little while, and then you're going to have to turn it off, right? And what surprised the developers was players didn't want to turn it off. They wanted to, what I used to call, set it and forget it. They wanted to turn it on and leave it on. They wanted it to be affecting them all the time, right? And we're going to get caught in an ambush here. Let me back up. So the developers didn't expect that. So what happened was that all the players, like pretty much all the players, right, took stamina, right? They did swift health stamina or hurdle health stamina, right? And so why'd they take stamina? Because you couldn't keep all your toggles on without stamina. So they took stamina and 6-slotted it, and then they were able to keep their toggles on all the time. That's not what the developers expected. They really thought we were going to be clicking like madmen and madwomen, right? That we would be turning, like right now, I don't need focus senses. Statesman expected me to turn it off. Why are you leaving it on? Focus fighting, rather. It's not a range toggle, right? Well, I'm leaving it on because I might get caught by this guy in melee or something, right? And so you just leave it on. Who wants to keep playing around with those toggles? You can turn it on and leave it on, right? And so one of the reasons the toggles cost so much endurance, but were also so good in terms of their defenses and stuff. Look at that, triple misses. Oh my gosh. One of the reasons was they didn't expect you to leave those toggles on. They expected you... Oh, gosh. Didn't expect that. They expected you to just turn it on when you needed them. And then turn them off when you didn't. Right? Minimally, at least in between spawns and stuff. And so... yeah, it actually caught them by surprise that the players were just turning their toggles on and just leaving them on. I mean, like, literally, this, except when the character dies, never gets turned off. It just stays on. They did not expect us to do that. And they actually were on the forums when people were complaining about the endurance costs, saying you shouldn't leave them on all the time, you should turn them on and off. And what the player said was, no, that's a pain in the neck. It leads to constant clicking, insane clicking, right? And then the objection that a lot of melee characters had, which was a lot of the ranged characters, They don't have to do that, right? Because they don't have toggles. At least not defense toggles that they have to leave on all the time, right? And Statesman was saying, but you don't have to leave it on all the time. And we're saying, but we want to leave it on all the time. And so, yeah, players just went and 6-slotted stamina. And then they just ran, and then they put endurance reducers on their toggles, right? And so if you 6-slotted stamina, put a single endurance reducer on your toggles, you could run like 4 toggles at the same time. But what Statesman really expected you to do was to keep turning them on and off. Constantly be troubleshooting, essentially, evaluating, micromanaging, right? And what we said as players is, no, we don't want to micromanage like that. And eventually the developers caved, obviously, because they then gave stamina to everybody. They recognized, look, everybody takes it, we may as well just give it to everybody. And they also had to recognize everybody's going to always leave their toggles on all the time, right? That's what they want out of a toggle. It's a toggle. You can leave it on all the time. Why wouldn't I? Right? And so, yeah. That's something that a lot of people did not realize later in the game, right? Ouch. That the toggles were meant to be only left on briefly. Gosh, all the missing. I only have a 68% there, so I can kind of see it. I still shouldn't miss, what is that, 6 times out of, or 4 times out of 6 with a 68% to hit? It should be hitting 4 times out of 6, not missing 4 times out of 6. So yeah, he expected, the developers all expected us to be turning the toggles on and off, right? That's in a sense that's why you have so many toggles, is because they expected you to be, down here with them, playing around with them, and using the hot buttons to turn them on and off. And most people just didn't want to do that, and we were like, no, we just want to turn it on and leave it on. And the players actually won that argument for once. Well, we kind of won it, right? The part of the response was, okay, if you're going to leave your toggles on all the time, we're going to nerf them. And that's one of the things that led to the GDN, the Global Defense Nerf, is because the players were leaving their toggles on all the time. And if you're going to leave your toggles on all the time, then it's going to make you more powerful than they expected you to be in PvP, right? Because you're not, like the Scrapper never has to turn off focus senses, so the blaster can't hit him. Right? I mean, imagine how hard it was as a blaster to hit a reflex scrapper in PvP. You had evasion and dodge, right? And dodge was 10% base, and evasion was 20% base, and you could 5-slot them to double it. 6-slotting would be a little more, but just the math's easier if you 5-slot them. So you could have 60% defense. That's amazing. It makes it amazingly hard to hit. Look how much we whiff when we have 68% to hit. Imagine 75 base minus 60. That's a 15% base to hit, right? And then your accuracy or whatever on top of that, your build up, whatever, maybe you could get it up to 30, 40%. Right? But they were constantly whiffing a reflex scrapper. Or you get to a tanker, right, like an invuln tanker, and the invulnerability tanker has got 95% defense to smashing and lethal, and 75% defense, or not defense, resistance to everything else. So you can't do anything to him. You're shooting him like crazy, plink, 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 right? And he can be that way all the time. He never has to turn the toggle off, right? And so that's one of the things that led to the GDN. If players had to turn the toggle off because they couldn't, they didn't have the endurance to keep it on, then you wouldn't have had to nerf it because the blasters could just wait until you were, turn the toggle off, and then they could hit you. But if you're never going to turn the toggle off, then they're not going to be able to do any damage to you. right? And so that's kind of, that all kind of came together. Part of the balance of City of Heroes rested on the assumption that the players were going to turn the toggles on and off, dynamically micromanaging them in combat. And most of the players were like, screw that, we're going to just leave the toggle on. And that is one the players, to a degree, won that argument by just insisting, right? So they were like, I'm 6-slotting stamina, and we've leveled up, so we're level 16. So we should have no problems in the rest of this mission. They said, I'm taking stamina, I'm 6-slotting it, and I'm gonna, 4-slot my toggles, or whatever, 6-slot my toggles and put 5 defense buffs and one endurance reducer. And I'm gonna run them all day. And there's just nothing they could do about it. Okay, so this is gonna be really interesting. I'd like to go at the boss now, but there are way too many of them. So let's hit these guys who are distant and pull them. We'll just do this carefully. I mean, to some degree it doesn't matter that much. If we die here we can res, but I don't want this character to faceplant at all, res or not. So I'm not using focus chi here because we're going to want it against the boss. Yeah, I'm not chasing him. I'm not stupid. I am not going to chase you. I will Nemesis staff you. There we go. What do we got here? Oh, so the hostage is right there. Okay. So we're going to have to aggro all these guys. And I better put on Practice Brawler. Just got it in time. I've got these buttons mixed up. Chief Genghis. These guys really think a lot of themselves with some of their names. Genghis. Sure you're Genghis. Haha, you got KB'd. Now that would have been a lot tougher if they'd been whites with an orange boss. But we leveled up, we found a recipe, we got some salvage. And we got a little money. Kind of waiting for us there. Let's head out. So we're 16th level, guys. I think this is where we take Cobra Strike. I mean, we can't even run Practice Brawler permanently. So I don't think there's any point to getting Focus Senses because we're going to have to leave it off most of the time anyway. I mean, it would be a nice Panic Power, but I think we're better off with some Lux and just do it that way. Alright, so let's go to... let's see, where's our contact? Our contact's in Steel Canyon. So let's go to our contact and then we'll level up. Put a train station right here. These things are so cool looking, the columns. Like, they serve no purpose, but they're very cool. I actually tried to recreate some of this in, like 2 years ago, or a year ago, something like that, when I was playing Satisfactory. I think it was 2 years ago. I was actually trying to recreate some of the buildings. The problem is they were utterly non-functional. Oh, I went to the wrong place. Alright, we're going to level up first then, because Guy Dennison is in the south of Steel Canyon. I always click the wrong train station for this. Alright, so let's level up first. We won't bother to go to another train station. We'll just level up right here. And I do miss having the higher level super jump where you can actually hit the top of the sides of those buildings and then go up. But at 15th, 16th level, you can't do that yet. Like, we can't even get to the top of the monorail yet. I remember being very disappointed in that with that in super jump until I realized that as it was leveling up, it was getting higher and further, and I was like, oh, that's cool. Okay, so level 16. Yep, I think we get Cobra Strike. And we're going to put that there. And I think we're going to move Brawl over here and take this off. We'll move the Ghost Sling Axe over there, and there we go. Alright, let's go to Denson. Is he Guy Denson or Guy Denson? Denson doesn't sound French, so I'm guessing he's Guy. I knew a person named Guy once. Kind of an unusual name. You see it like in movies and stuff, but I rarely see it in real life. Okay, we're gonna do Jim Templar. I'm gonna go ahead and choose this because Jim Templar is the Fault Line arc, and we definitely want to do that. That's a fun arc. How are we doing on time? We're 21 minutes. Okay, we have time for a little bit more. I'll sell all this stuff when we. I'll sell all this stuff when I'm not filming. So let's go ahead and we'll keep doing stories for this guy, and then we'll switch to Jim Templar. Go talk with the Longbow Warzone. Oh, here we go. All right, so I'll pause this, and I'll bring you back, and we have an actual mission. All right, we're back. So I have to ask you. I have a buddy, Manny, whose house was recently raided by the Clockworks. Recover his trophy. I think that's a story arc. Maybe not. Guess not. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and just auto-teleport, since we don't want our runtime to get too long. And we have to recover the trophy from the Clockworks. And it's getting a little late here, and I need to actually make a phone call, so I'm not going to defeat all. Right? I'm just going to go get the trophy, and once we have it, we're out, unless it tells me to defeat all. And I'm hoping it's not going to be a super giant mission, because I do need to stop in about 10-15 minutes, hopefully a little less. This game it's like Psychic, it knows when I am ready to stop and I just want to do one quick mission, and it always gives me like a 30-minute mission. I'm hoping it doesn't do that. Okay, it doesn't look like too huge of a map. So just recover a trophy from the Clockworks. Stun. Knockdown. And we're going to be doing a lot more damage now. Why are these guys blue? That's a level 16 mission. Okay, white cons, that makes sense. We're going to be having lots of endurance problems in this mission because these guys drain your endurance with their electricity. There we go. Try to stun. Missed. Ugh. So we need to see if we can find the trophy, but I have no idea where it is. Oh, well, there's a glowy. We might have gotten lucky. Ugh, not getting lucky with the misses, though. 3 in a row. Come on, with 81% chance to hit. Two white cons, and I'm going to need to rest. So my guess is there are going to be multiple glowies, and yeah, there's another one, and it's just random which one it's in. Alright. I guess we keep looking. There's no way to know which one it'll be in, so you just... Oh my gosh, 3 misses in a row, 94% chance to hit. Gosh, all the missing. Yeah, you're telling me that's a 94%? With that many misses? Unbelievable. Again. Alright, well that one's only 81%, right? Because I don't have any enhancers on it. But still. They have no trouble hitting me. Unreal. Alright, let's take a rest. So we're 16th level. We're heading for 18. 18, we will get focus senses. Oh my gosh, this is going to be brutal. Alright, so I'm going to start with that, and then I'm going to switch to the Cannon Knight and hit him with 4 focus cheat attacks. Because that should take him out really easily. There we go. That is a nice combo. Right? With the focus chi, you can get a lieutenant almost out with the single 4 attack chain. Which is really good. That helps a lot. And that's why I wanted to get Cobra Strike, because it does so much good damage. And now it's like we basically got double crane kicks in terms of the damage we can do. If we hit. Yeah, he's aggroing me. Gotcha. Okay, let's see if the trophy's in one of these boxes. No. No. I bet not. Yeah, and I think this is just... I don't know if it's random or if it's the last box you look in. I don't know exactly how they do it. So this is going to end up being mostly a defeat all because we have to look in every single box. Four hits to take out a lieutenant. That's not bad. That saved us a lot of incoming damage. Now you can't do that every time because Focus Chi takes a minute and a half. Unless you want to just sit there and wait for it to regenerate. So this is going to be a pretty brutal fight. Just because I can't do the Focus Chi. We missed with Cobra Strike. And so it's just that much longer. You got to stand in there and fight them. Okay. Alright, so no glowies over here. So this area is done. We gotta go this way. So there are 2 more directions to go. Oh, well, nope, this is not one. So there's 1 more direction to go. So of course I went the wrong way. Because why wouldn't I? Man, that does nice damage. Cobra Strike. That stunned him. That helps too. Excellent. So things are moving along. And we are probably going to find the trophy in the next glowy or two. Because I don't think there's a lot more room. There's these two, and there may be one or two more. Let's see. Yeah, clearly there is, because we don't see an asterisk. Oh, so there must be at least two more. So it ended up being a defeat all anyway, right? Pretty much. But it's not too big of a mission, fortunately. Man, the endurance. Where is it? There it is. And we got it. Alright, that's good, guys, because I do need to stop. I should have stopped a few minutes ago, but I wanted to do one more mission. Always want to do one more mission. It's a very addictive game. So the mission is complete. We're going to call Denson. And that's it. And I don't think we have a story arc from him yet. But hopefully he'll give us one shortly. So we're doing pretty well. We're 16th level. We have right now, without selling everything, 161,000 influence. So we're on our way. We're doing pretty well. Until next time, guys, I am Scrapperlock. This has been City of Heroes on the Rebirth server Iron Man mode.